Andrew was a 30-year-old husband, father, and son. By all accounts, he was healthy, active, living a normal life. But then, something changed. At first, it was subtle. While eating, Andrew began to notice difficulty swallowing. Food didn't pass as easily as it once had. There was no pain, no immediate cause for concern. So, he ignored it. Over time, the problem persisted. Swallowing became more difficult, and then a new symptom appeared. Heartburn, a recurring burning sensation in his chest. Still, nothing severe, nothing that seemed urgent. Andrew thought it was his lifestyle. Was it the coffee? Stress? The routine? He told himself he would cut back. And once again, he chose to wait. But within a matter of weeks, his condition began to decline. Swallowing became increasingly difficult, until even drinking water was a challenge. The weight loss was significant, nearly 60 pounds, in just a short period of time. Fatigue starts to set in. Andrew could no longer maintain his daily routine. Work became impossible. Even simple tasks required rest. At this point, the symptoms could no longer be ignored. Andrew went to the emergency room. Doctors began a series of tests, searching for answers. What they found was concerning: a mass located in his throat. He was taken into surgery, where the mass was successfully removed. A biopsy was performed, and blood work followed. The results confirmed their suspicions. The mass was cancerous, and more concerning, it had already spread through the lymphatic system into other areas of his body. At this stage, treatment options were limited. Doctors delivered the news. There was nothing more they could do. Andrew was discharged and placed in hospice care. In February of 2005, just 1 year after his first symptoms appeared, Andrew died.
Unfortunately, people will endure difficulty swallowing for quite some time. At first you think, hey, I choked on my food, it went down the wrong way, and it continues to happen, and it becomes more frequent, and it's happening every time you have, a piece of meat, or happens every time you have bread, or every time you have, raw vegetables. And you don't think much of it, you get by with it, you drink, and then you wash it down. It starts to get worse over the coming months. Sooner or later, 4 months down the line, you've lost 15 pounds unintentionally, and you're struggling to even take, your piece of chicken that you normally would, scarf down in a heartbeat. That tends to be the norm, unfortunately. And not to say that every time you have difficulty swallowing, you have esophageal cancer. That's not what I'm trying to say. But it's something that you want to keep in mind, that if it's certainly not something that used to happen 20 years ago, and something that happened kind of all of a sudden, and it persists with different consistencies of food, and certainly you're starting to notice a little weight loss when you haven't been working out as often as you normally would, something else may be going on.
In the beginning, there was no pain, no urgency, no clear warning, only small changes. Easy to overlook, easy to dismiss. If Andrew had sought medical attention sooner, even just weeks earlier, the outcome may have been different. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? Therefore, honor God with your bodies. 1 Corinthians 6:19. 20. Sometimes the most serious conditions don't announce themselves loudly. They develop quietly, which is why paying attention to even the smallest changes can make all the difference. Don't ignore symptoms. Get checked.